if you're struggling with your deadlift floor speed, you just feel like it's welded to the floor, and you're one of those people that thinks, if I get it off the floor, I know I'm gonna pull it, then make sure you watch this video to the end, because I'm gonna not only teach you why you have this problem, but I'm gonna teach you how to build 2 8-week training phases that layer on from each other that will help you rebuild your deadlift from the ground up and fix that floor speed. So floor speed is an interesting thing with the deadlift. A lot of people, first of all, associate this with needing to fix something. They need to build the hamstrings, need to build the glutes, the quads, some muscle imbalance. And this is correct, but the first thing you need to address before that is position. A lot of times people with poor floor speed pull in a certain fashion. They have low hips, they're relying on a lot of leg drive, and they tend to have neutral spine or slightly retracted scapula. So the first thing we need to look at is position, and we need to make sure that the position that you're in is efficient and is going to enable you to get the best speed off of the floor. This tends to come from needing to have a slightly higher hip and feel a little bit more comfortable protracting or letting the shoulder drop forward rather than retract, and also getting a little bit of flexion in the thoracic, so a little bit of rounding in the upper back. A lot of times people associate this with bad deadlift form, but in actual fact, it's a more realistic position to be in at maximal weights. How many times you see people pulling 100 kilos perfectly, but when it gets to 230 kilos or something, the back slightly rounds? What we need to find as a strength athlete is the position that can be maintained not only at 60 kilo, but at whatever your 1 rep max is as well. So we need to make sure that we have a training phase that allows us to find and master and basically build this position. Obviously, layering on from that, once we've found this position, then the next block is obviously what I said initially, imbalances. What this tends to be is it tends to be in the hamstrings specifically. A lot of people you'll find, because they have this lower hip position, if they're slow off the floor, when they have a slightly higher hip and they're engaging that hamstring in a more stiff leg deadlift position, they're very weak there. So the first thing we want to fix there is the strength of a stiff leg deadlift, or the hamstrings in isolation as well. Furthering on from that, we just need to make sure that the upper back is strong as well, so that it's able to hold the position that you're bracing in, so that when you start initiating force into the floor to pull the deadlift, the position you're acquiring, you don't move from it, you're able to hold it through the whole movement. So how would you program this so that you're able to fix this issue? Well, first of all, I'd make sure that we started off with a preparation phase. So what's known as an accumulation phase. This just means that we're using positions and movement patterns that are a little bit different and a little bit away from the specific. So it's not like the completely different movements. We're just slightly less specific. So for example, instead of a deadlift, during this phase, I would choose a snatch grip deadlift. We also want to make sure that the volume we're doing is high, so that we're able to build good positions at a lower load, and that we're able to accumulate more work within the session, because if you're going super heavy, you can't accumulate lots of volume, can you? So the first 8-week phase we would use is an accumulation phase to allow us to get the position, the strength and isolation of the hamstrings and the upper back, and make sure that we're able to set ourselves up so that the 8-week phase coming after, we're able to extract loads of new strength potential that we've built during that phase. So how we do this? So on the app I'm going to show you here, we would go to build an off-season training block, and obviously specifically for this we're going to use session 2, which is deadlift and assistance. This is where we're going to do the main work. So we would hit that and we would go into the accumulation phase, and then we would basically build a program on the app around this issue. So I always like to make sure we have some general preparation in there. This means that when you come into the gym, you've got a little bit of work to do to prepare you for your deadlift. So it's the general preparation in the MST app. You're just going to be doing things like bird dogs, hip airplanes. It's a very quick 5-minute prep, but it's going to help build resilience for the session. I'd also pick a specific movement prep for the session, and one of the ones that I like to do here, the most simple, is a single leg balance, a king deadlift, a guard hammer raise, and a hamstring curl. It is 4 exercises, but they're very simple, pretty much just body weight apart from the hamstring curl machine. It'll take you probably another 10 minutes or so. So 5-minute general prep, 10-minute movement prep, then we're going to get into the deadlift session. Now, that movement prep does take care of hamstring curls for us. So I would probably skip, although I want to train the hamstring in isolation, I would probably skip this section here, the hamstring foot control, because if you didn't want to do the movement prep, you could remove that and just add a hamstring curl in there. But like I say, we're taking care of the hamstring curl and the movement prep. And then as we get into the specific deadlift work, we're going to click deadlift. Now for floor speed, like I say, we want to build that position. We want to make sure we build that position and find that hip height off the floor, etc. And we're looking to build strength in the upper back and learn how to hold the position. So I want to go with the snatch grip deadlift here. And I have a specific phase that I put in here to help with these issues. The snatch grip posterior chain hypertrophy block. This is an accumulation phase that's going to last 8 weeks. It's going to use the snatch grip position because you've got more range of motion on a snatch grip deadlift, and also we're going to have a lot more upper back activation due to the wide grip. This phase has a lot of pauses in it, so you're going to do stuff like pull off of the floor an inch or so, pause and hold. So it's going to really help exaggerate that start position. You're going to have to find your strongest position because you won't be able to pause there, and it's going to be the foundation to fixing your position, which will in turn help your floor speed. So select that. If you're unsure about how to set up these phases, guys, you can download our app. Click the link in the description below, go to the MST Systems website, download the app, you get a 7-day free trial. So you can literally build this training program along with me and try it out for the first week. And then if it's for you, it will be for you. You can stick it out, run the phase, fix your floor speed. So we've assigned the snatch grip posterior chain hypertrophy phase. Now, main session assistance on the app. So this is kind of like the assistance that you're going to use. That's going to be the kind of dominant assistance alongside your deadlift. Because we're in an accumulation phase, that snatch grip posterior chain block, it's not that heavy. It's designed to focus on position and expose weak positions. So we're able to actually accumulate a couple of assistances alongside that. So I would go here with a dead stop safety bar good morning as the main assistance. The reason for this is because we're going to be helping strengthen that higher hip height position that I was on about before, that people with poor floor speed tend to be weak in. If you literally do this exercise, a dead stop safety bar good morning, as per the video I show, you will literally be in a deadlift start position. Or should I say an exaggerated deadlift start position. It'll be even a harder position than what we're going to put you in on a deadlift. So by strengthening this position here, it's going to in turn, in the phase that we do after this, is going to help really blow up your deadlift. So here we could pick any of these phases, but I quite like this 2x4 week descending reps protocol. It is a 4-week mesocycle that you run twice. Basically, the first week you're doing 12 to 15 reps, then 10 to 12, then 8 to 10, and then 5 to 8. So it gets heavy over 4 weeks. Then you repeat the rotation a little heavier the second go round. So we're going to select that. Secondary assistance. Now, we do need to make sure that we do train a little bit of leg drive. So if we scroll down on the assistance section to leg drive focus, I think that here we've just done 2 hinge movements, haven't we? We've done a snatch grip deadlift, we've done a safety bar good morning. We probably want to put something in that relaxes that lower back. No more hinge focus. So we're going to go with a leg press, deadlift stance barefoot, and we're going to go here with a 20 rep max accumulation phase, so that after we've done our 2 hinge movements, we can accumulate loads of volume on the leg press and help build that leg drive off the floor. This is deadlift stance, deadlift position. So when you watch the video of how to do this, you'll see that it will put you in the exact same position with your feet and how deep we go with leg drive, so that we're strengthening the leg drive off of the floor for your deadlift. Because we've just done 3 kind of big exercises, I would probably skip the back assistance vertical, but on back assistance horizontal, I would chuck in a wide grip cable row, and I would probably just keep this nice and simple and stick with a linear progression. So I would go for this 20 to 10 2 sets linear model, because we're doing quite a bit of work here, so I don't do too much. I will skip 1 bicep exercise. I'll just add this. So we'll add 1 bicep exercise. I'll probably go with an incline dumbbell bicep curl because they're my favorite. And we'll do a similar rep progression. So we'll do high rep biceps. After this, we can build our session. So now we've taken care of the first deadlift session. If we go down to session 4, move, this also includes a secondary deadlift movement. So if we go here to the move section, we can go into deadlifts, and here is an important exercise we need to add. So stiff leg deadlifts. I here would be doing, any of these protocols will work, but I'm quite a fan of the pyramids. And because we're in an accumulation phase, maybe I'll stick with the higher rep ranges here. So we'll go with the 12, 8, 5 pyramids. And the reason for the stiff leg deadlift, like I said before, we're putting you in that higher hip position. We're going to strengthen that hamstring. If you are slow off the floor, you tend to have low hips. So we're going to put you higher hip and we're going to really build good volume and strength from this position. Deadlift assistance on this section, I would go with a reverse hyper or a GHD back extension, whatever your gym's got access to. And here I'm going to go with the 12 to 6 rep linear progression model, so we can go a little heavier. Select that. Now, once we've selected all these, we've pretty much built a perfect first 8-week phase to lay down the foundations for fixing this floor speed. So I'm just going to quickly tick all the other exercises and skip them, and then I'll show you the build program. So now that I've ticked everything, I can hit build program. So on the app, it allows you to name it. So I'll just call this deadlift floor speed. Then on the app, if we hit view custom program, we can click the deadlift floor speed accumulation phase and activate it. Okay, right. So once it's activated, it'll go to the workout screen here, and we can just take a look at one of the sessions. So it does ask you for your how prepared you are for the session here. Our session 1 has nothing in it because we skipped session 1. We had no press exercises in there. But session 2 here, our deadlift session. So as you can see, we've got the MST Big 5 general prep. We've got our movement prep, our snatch grip deadlift. Good mornings, our leg press, deadlift stance, wide grip row, incline dumbbell bicep curl. There are a lot of exercises here, guys. It might seem like a lot, but the reason being is it's an accumulation phase. So the percentage and load you'll be working with won't be so high, so you're able to do more work. That's the idea. We're laying down the foundations to fix that floor speed before we actually build a program that will allow us to extract all the things we've just changed. So if we just click the snatch grip deadlift here, you can see you've got quite a big description of what to do. Within the app, we don't just say like do 5x3 or whatever. It will tell you exactly what to do. So it says barefoot, beltless, grip outside the weightlifting ring with straps. Very specific. Tells you where to pause, where to hold. Tells you how to pick the load you're going to do, etc. And yeah, basically foolproof. Can't do it wrong. Once we've run through that 8-week phase, we've laid down our foundations. We've built our volume on our stiff legs, on our snatch grips, on our safety bar good morning, our hamstring in isolation, our deadlift stance leg press. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're able to actually build off of that foundation. So what we would do now is we would build a deadlift and assistance protocol. We would go to intensification now. And right now during the intensification, it's going to be a bit less work. So we would still hit a movement prep. In fact, we could literally do the same movement preps. We don't need to overcomplicate them. But when we get to the deadlift section, we will now be presented with different deadlift phases. Because floor speed is the issue, we would want to go with a phase that allows us to utilize a little bit of accommodating resistance so that we're able to pull with speed and intent off the floor and start ingraining neurologically those adaptations that we've just tried to create during our accumulation block. This deadlift phase here, the post-activation potentiation deadlift lockout peak, this is a phase that is designed to help you with your deadlift lockout, but it has a lot of accommodating resistance pulls off of the floor. So it does kill two birds with one stone. I think this phase is absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite training blocks. So I would really recommend that if you had a deadlift floor speed issue, after you lay down your foundation, your accumulation, this post-activation potentiation deadlift lockout peak, absolutely, it'll be amazing. It'll work really well. You could, however, also use the Andy Bolton style peak. Andy Bolton's quite well known for using low block pulls, first of all, followed by speed pull from the floor. So that will really help you pull with intent and speed from the floor as well. And then we're going to select the post-activation potentiation deadlift lockout peak because this will work really well with the accommodating resistance. For your main session assistance, because we're going to be focusing on the deadlift and we're going to be lifted heavy and we're going to be taking up a lot of recovery from the actual intensification block on the deadlift, we'll probably want to hold back a little bit here and not do something as hinge focused. However, we definitely do want something heavy within the session for our main session assistant. So I would say here, I would go with the bent over row neural, and I would use the deadlift assistance max effort volume effort rotation phase. This way we're able to get some isometric strength through the hinge position, but we're going to mainly be focusing on the lats. And obviously the bent over row neural is kind of like a bent over row that you cheat a little bit. If you have the app, you'll be able to watch the video of how to do it. The secondary deadlift assistance, I would honestly at this point skip this because we've got a heavy deadlift block and we've got some heavy rows. Let's skip that and not go too crazy. However, we would throw some back assistance vertical in, but I would probably keep it restoration style focus. So we'll go with a CAS pull down, and then we'll go with a single arm cable row. And I'll just put some simple linear progressive sets there. Bicep isolation, I would still keep in. We'll go with the cable curl this time round. We'll just do the same linear program on each one. And we'll just skip these final two. Build session. For the second deadlift session here, because we're taking up a lot of recovery allowance from day one on the heavy peak, I would just stick in here a concentric pause deadlift, and I would go with background deadlift volume. The reason for this is the concentric pause deadlift is going to help keep ingrained that start position, but the background deadlift volume means it's very light, so it's easy to recover from, so that you can go into that first session every week. So imagine you do it kind of Tuesday and Friday. Every time you do Friday session with the concentric pauses, you're going to be recovered for the Tuesday session. You're not going to be carrying any extra fatigue because it's an easy to recover from protocol where we're just drilling position. For deadlift assistance, I would keep in the reverse hyper or GHD back extension. We did reverse hyper last block, so let's go with the back extension this block. And there we go. We've now built an intensification phase that layers on from the first accumulation phase to fix your deadlift floor speed. So that's how you build a 16-week training block that will help fix your deadlift floor speed. We've got 8-week accumulation and 8-week intensification, custom built with, and I've showed you the other options as well. You don't have to pick the phases that I put here. There are other phases within there that you could have chosen on that intensification block that would have worked to help extract that floor speed we built on the accumulation. So if you don't feel comfortable building your own accumulation and intensification phases, then that's just why the app's here. So click the link in the description, download the app, the 7-day free trial, so you can build your training block, have a read through first of all, and make sure it's for you. If you wish to sign up, it's only $29.99 a month, so it's a really cheap, easy investment that you can make to get the perfect training phases you need. If you also require a slightly different training block, or you've got a slightly different issue, then we do have access to a Facebook group as well that you get with the app. You can post videos in there for technical feedback off myself and my team. You can also ask for, I have this problem, Shane, what should I select? Which phases do I need to use? What assistance do I need? So you can get a lot of value out of the Facebook group and help you build the perfect training program. So click the link in the description and just give the 7-day free trial a go.